Okay, here is a mess. Well, some time ago I crashed this thing, and I got the new body, and it was $25. These things are as thin as eggshells almost, and I thought while I had it open I would make some adjustments for this thing. And so I made a mounting plate, and that goes on here, and then that goes on here, and the hold downs for the legs hold it in place, but hangs down too far, so I'm going to have to cut these off and put a lift kit on it. Never heard of a lift kit on a helicopter before, but I'm going to hang this thing off there. That seems like a lot of crap to hang off of this little helicopter. Anyway, yeah, while I was waiting to get my parts, this came in. I put it together. Seems to kind of work, sort of. And I might end up putting it on the FJ, so I want this to be sort of a temporary fix. I did have to make a couple grooves because the screw heads on the bottom of this don't hold the standoffs. Let's see, yeah, it hold the standoffs. It would hold that up too much. But then I got some longer things here, so these thumb screws I can't use anymore. Well, anyway, I took the propellers off, and that one's definitely shot, and I disconnected this thing just so I could see what I was looking at. And the GPS module's up here, and we can see where the screws are to hook this together. There's one here, two there, one there, and then we got this little guy near the battery compartment door, and then it just snaps apart, and the GPS module's stuffed up in there, and I'll probably have to get some duct tape to redo that. So, in fact, I think I'll go ahead and take that off now, and we'll continue. Okay, that's what the little bugger looks like, and there's 4 screws here. Is this the right size screwdriver, or do I need a different one? Need a smaller one. Okay, I'm going to take that off, and then we're going to take a good close look inside once I get that out of the way. And this gimbal, by the way, is the Beholder Lite. It's not the Beholder. This one's got more carbon fiber on it. I think the other one's a better fit. I'm having to do a lot more mods than I expected, and that's a bit annoying, but and the amount of weight I saved probably came back with these standoffs. But I think I can get these in nylon or some plastic that are lighter. I might end up putting the GoPro in the FJ anyway. So let me shut the tape off and, well, camera, it's not tape, showing my age, and we'll take a close look at this and figure out what we need to do to get all these parts transferred from here over to here. Okay, so the wires on the GPS unit here, was pretty good stack of crap there, go to the back, and I marked that so I don't forget, because I'll probably get interrupted. I numbered the motors and the motor controllers 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like there's 4 standoff screws to lift this whole thing out. And it looks like I see one. Let's look in here, get everything oriented the same way. It looks like how is this held in? I can't see how. I see one screw here, and let's see what happens. Where's the little screwdriver? Let me get a little cup or something to put this in. Instead of opening that little bag all the time. There's a screw that fell out. Okay, there it is. It's right under this wire. It looks like these might be different. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong part. Okay, those two come right out. And I don't see what they screwed into. For the life of me, I can't see how those were held in. Oh, here's how they're held in. This thing, the light canopy, holds them in, and they give you new ones of those. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take those out. It looks like the battery cable is not an issue. The antennas, I think I can pull them right out. There's nothing on the ends. But the compass wire and the movie wire, see, this is the power wire to the movie. It's going to be an issue to get it through this hole. And so the question I have is, do I cut the wire or do I desolder it? This one might fit through if I can get this retainer out. Let me see if I can do that. I'm going to put this down for a minute and mess with that, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I could desolder this, or I could clip it and pull it through. And I could hard solder to the Devo 4. I'm going to leave it on there. the GoPro's got its own battery, which is a lot of extra weight. Be nice to get around that. But this thing doesn't seem to work with 11 volts. It seems to be fine with 7, which means I would have to tap in here. That's not an issue. I can run that out the back. I ought to see if the Devo runs on 7, in which case I wouldn't even need this wire. So I'd have 2 connections to make it start a flight, but that's one choice. Well, let me see what I'm going to do. I think I'll cut the wire and figure out if the Devo 4 works on 7 volts. If it does, then we'll just plan on hooking up to here, both of them, with one wire. Okay, I want to make sure I get this polarity right. The red one is on the right with the middle facing up, because I'm going to cut that off and then plug it into the F3 battery at the 7 volt tap and see if it works. Okay, that is the Devo camera, which is right here, and this is the transmitter for it. And I'm thinking there's a voltage regulator inside. Don't say anything about voltage ratings. And then this gets its power from here. So this is what I need to power up. And then I gotta go find an SD card to put in there to make sure it's working. Or I can turn on the controller, the transmitter, the flight transmitter, not this transmitter, but the one that flies it. Okay. Okay, that's working. I walked down to in the house. I don't know if I was recording or not. I may have just been talking to myself. But we can see we're on the 7 volt pin, and it works. So there's an option, and then we can run that on down to the beholder light. Now I'm thinking about this plug and the way this all works. I still want to be able to unplug the beholder and leave this on, so I need to put a splice in. And I also need to get one of these plugs. Would be ideal. So I don't know where I'm going to get one of those. Okay, so there's the guts of it, all laying on the table. There's the GPS module, the little computer, there's the receiver, antennas, motor controllers, motors, LED lights that go in the back. This is the lock light. This one here is GPS lock. This is motor lock. And there's a little grommet. So there's some little black discs that were under the motors. I moved them over. I still have one other chore to do. I could do this later. These pieces go on the top. There's one up here. They got to be transferred over. They're mounting. That's what holds it together. And this really doesn't seem to be too bad. I'll probably be bench testing it this weekend, I think, if everything goes well at work. So I still have to put the lift kit on the legs, but I may hold off mounting that gimbal for a while. I got to figure out how it's going to work, but and the pieces made, that took more time than this, I think. So I gotta go check a computer program, and I'll go ahead and move those mounts, and then we'll stuff the guts back in the new body. Okay, we've got all the electronics installed pretty much. There's a binder plug. Guess we'll hang that down there. I took a closer look at the foil that holds this in. I still have to attach it to these 4 posts. Well, it was tape, but it had foil in it. That's probably to prevent radio frequency interference. The dog, I think, took that, and I can't find it in any case, or it got stuck to the cat's legs. See, she comes over and eats right there. Anyway, so what I'll have to do is use a piece of tape and some foil on the back side of this, and I think I'll be okay. So we'll install that, and then we'll slap the shell together, and maybe later we can start this up without worrying about mounting all the camera stuff on the bottom. Oh, I still have one more light dome to put on. Yeah, see, there's some screws left. Okay, so anyway, let's do those few chores, and I'll go ahead and take some pictures of the foil and tape arrangement, and just to document it. This really wasn't too bad. It wasn't near as bad as figuring out how to mount the cameras. I still have to put on the lift kit. So anyway, then I think I'll tire down and see if things work, and maybe get a rough trim done, and maybe this weekend we can take it out and see if it'll fly, and make sure that the controls are working. Okay, well, we may have a working Walkera QR X350 again after a couple days work, I guess. Next time it'll go faster. Hopefully there's no next time crash, but might have to open the shell. I might put an altimeter in it. I think I might mount that on the outside though. Okay, we got the GPS module mounted in here. Now I need to find some aluminum foil or copper foil. I think I've got some copper foil in the shop, and I think we're ready to slap it together. This is all hooked up. This out of the way. Got my antennas, camera power, compass, antenna 2. Okay, I don't know, making the antennas longer would help. There's I don't know if they're optimized for wavelength or not. In which case, if I made them twice as long, probably still be okay. Alright, bye. Okay, I couldn't find any aluminum foil, but I had bought some copper foil to upgrade my aluminum UFO hat to a slighter, nicer version for going to church, and that's copper. So aluminum foil would probably work, but see, we've got sort of a half a Faraday cage thing going on here to probably minimize electrical noise from all of this and camera transmitters from affecting the GPS, which could be a really bad deal if you're trying to use failsafe and it flies off somewhere else, tries to reach Africa or something. So I'm going to secure that with a little electrical tape and slap the shell together. Okay, you may think this is overkill, but we've got tape over the entire foil. There's some cooling vents here and here we don't want to cover up probably, and we want to make sure the foil has no possibility of falling down and causing any shorts anywhere. It looks like it's a pretty remote possibility, but we'll just make sure it doesn't happen. Try to fight Murphy's Law as much as we can. Well, that looks better. Hopefully I didn't lose any screws. I got to put the screws in, and kind of snaps together, but we do need the screws in there, and it's beginning to look like Christmas. Okay, very good. Okay, probably do some bench testing now. And I have to go to work, so we'll do some bench testing. I'll strap her down and put some tape on the propellers, see if the controls are working, and then we'll go outside and see if we can get a GPS signal and go from there. Okay, I think I have it all together again, and I did a propellerless test a minute ago. Seems to be binding and stuff okay. We'll do that again. I calibrated the compass. I stuck a pretty fresh battery in there. I got my timer. So we're gonna try it tied down, see if the controls obviously work, and then I might let it run at near full throttle and see how long it takes to run the battery out. Let's see, do we have this wide angle as much as we can? Yeah, okay. So first thing we do is, maybe I ought to get over here, is turn on the transmitter, get a little bead, show the battery on inside, and connect it. This always makes me nervous when those wiggle like that. With the rudder all the way down, or throttle all the way down, rudder over, this light's on, and we should get some power. Okay, so forward trim is Too much. I forgot to turn this on. Okay, that's 7 minutes. Ooh, that gets hot. All right, we'll get a fresh battery and try this again.